South Carolina hosts Missouri. LSU and Florida face off in a battle of the Swamp Rats. And Texas A&M plays host to SEC East favorite Kentucky.
East favorite Kentucky?
Yeah, haven't you heard, man? I'm going to cover all those games and the rest of the games this weekend in the SEC in today's video. Let's go. Yeah, that's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, and I'm live for you on LouTube today, and thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I post college football videos almost every single day of the year. Some of them are even watchable. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends. I do this video every single Tuesday. It's an SEC preview. We preview the SEC games on Tuesday. I do all the top 25 games on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I do a preview and prediction of whatever games are left over that might be of some sort of interest to me for whatever particular reason. Every preview and prediction video that I do this season is being sponsored by the good people over at betnow.eu. There's going to be a link in the description of this video. If you click that link, it'll take you over to their site, and they're going to get you set up with all your college football betting needs for the 2018 season. They've even given me a promo code to let you guys use. So when you sign up over there on betnow.eu, make sure you enter the promo code Uncle Lou. That's one word, all lowercase letters, Uncle Lou, and they're going to give you a 100% bonus on your deposit. Good luck. All right, now we're going to do this the same way we always do it. We're going to start with the early games on Saturday, and we're going to run all the way up through the primetime games, covering every single SEC game this week. Per usual, there's some really, really good ones and some not so good ones. But all but one SEC game this week features SEC versus SEC. So we only have one team, Ole Miss, playing an out-of-conference opponent. Some important games this week for sure. But let's go ahead and get started with these early games. Now, coming up first, ESPN noon. Arkansas hosts Bama! And the Gumps are a 35-point favorite in this one. Now, Arkansas has been one of the worst teams, not just in the SEC, but in the entire Power 5 all season. Unexplainable loss to North Texas. Chad Morris, been kind of a disappointment this year. I know Arkansas fans weren't expecting an SEC title, but come on, you couldn't have possibly expected to be looking this bad. Bama, on the other hand, is on a roll, blowing out everybody they play. If you've been watching these preview videos this season, then you know this about me, but I'm always hesitant to lay a large amount of points, no matter how good a team is and no matter how bad the team is that they're playing. Alabama's been sort of the exception to that rule this year. Sometimes, the reason I don't normally like laying these huge amounts of points is because you don't really know what a team's going to do in the second half if they're up 30, 40 points, right? A lot of times you see teams throttle down, run the clock out, slow the game down, that kind of thing, and it ends up not covering the spread a lot of times. That hasn't been the case with Alabama. You take last week, for example, they played Louisiana Lafayette. They were up by, 40 or 50 points, whatever it was. The third-string quarterback's in the game throwing 94-yard touchdown passes. So if you're one of these people that is comfortable laying these big amounts of points, Alabama's a good team to do it on. I'm going to do it this week, too. Give me Alabama, and I'll lay the 35. All right, that first game is almost pointless to watch unless you're a huge Alabama fan. But this next one here, noon, SEC Network, Missouri at South Carolina. South Carolina's a 2-point favorite in this one. I think this has the potential to be a pretty good game. A lot of people had these two teams picked as second and third in the SEC East heading into the season. Of course, Kentucky is going to have something to say about that, too, as we head down the stretch here. South Carolina has not looked impressive over the last couple of weeks, getting blown out at home by Georgia, losing on the road to Kentucky. 5 straight losses to Kentucky. Wow. Hard to make an argument that you're a relevant program when you've lost to Kentucky 5 years in a row, but South Carolina has somehow managed to figure that out. Typically, at South Carolina has been one of the tougher places to play in the SEC East over the last 5 to 10 years. But like I said, they did not look good at home against Georgia. Now, Missouri, obviously, not as good as Georgia this year, but Missouri has a pretty good offense and is capable of putting up some points. I haven't been impressed at all with South Carolina this year. Missouri, on the other hand, their passing game has been impressive in a lot of games this season. Now, their defense isn't anywhere near where it needs to be, but then again, neither is South Carolina's. I'm going to take the road underdog here. Give me Missouri and the 2 points. I have a feeling Missouri gets this done. I just think things are heading in the wrong direction this season for South Carolina. All right, then we got one of the two sort of big games of the week, right? 3:30 CBS game this week. Number 5 LSU goes on the road to Florida, ranked 22nd this week. LSU comes into this game as a 2.5-point favorite. LSU has two of the most impressive wins in all of college football this year. Ohio State win at Penn State was impressive, but that's one win. LSU, of course, has the neutral site win week 1 over Miami, and then a road win at Auburn a few weeks ago. It's hard to find a team in college football with two more impressive wins than what LSU has. Florida, on the other hand, lost their conference opener at home to Kentucky, losing for the first time to them in 32 years, something like that. Dan Mullen then goes on the road to Tennessee, waxes them, on the road to Mississippi State, and gets a big win there last week. Now, Florida's offense put up a lot of points in the Tennessee game, but you really have to look deeper into that. Tennessee had 6 turnovers in that game. That equates to 6 extra possessions for Florida. You look at their points they scored in the Kentucky game and the Mississippi State game, which are the only two halfway decent teams they've played all year. Florida is averaging 14 points a game in those two games. Yes, they beat Mississippi State 13-7, but let's be real, that wasn't an offensive explosion. And of course, they beat Mississippi State on the road and then lost to Kentucky at home. Florida offensively has not impressed me this year. I know Dan Mullen's an offensive guy, and Florida fans had high hopes for the offense. And you go out and put 60 points on Charleston Southern. Congratulations. But like I mentioned, the two good teams that you played, the offense has struggled. I mean, there's just no other way to look at it. Kentucky and Mississippi State held your offense in check. You went 1-1 in those two games. LSU, on the other hand, elite defense, in my opinion. Offensively, better than a lot of people expected, LSU, to be honest. They didn't really know what to expect from this Burrows coming in from Ohio State. I would say he's played good. Not great, but good. But the benchmark for LSU quarterback play over the last few years is not very high. So he has surpassed that, in my opinion. They're getting better play from the quarterback position right now at LSU than they've gotten probably since Jamarcus Russell. And their running back situation has turned out to be, I think, better than some people thought. Of course, LSU didn't have any running backs returning this year that had ever scored a touchdown in college football. So a lot of inexperienced guys. But this Brosette, this running back Brosette, has really stepped up this year. He's looked good all season long for LSU. He's been sort of their workhorse running back this year. They've got some playmakers at wide receiver. And, of course, I already mentioned their defense, one of the best in the SEC. I would feel a lot more comfortable here if this game was at LSU. I just don't think Florida is a better team than LSU. Now, over the last few years, this has been a really, really close game and a low-scoring game. If you're not comfortable on either side of this bet the under in this game. That may be a safer bet than playing either side here. I'm going to take LSU to get the win here. I've just been more impressed with what they've done this year than what Florida has done. This is not a I'm not trash talking Florida here. Florida could win this game. I wouldn't be completely shocked. I just think LSU has done more this year to impress me. And Georgia plays LSU not this week but next week. So, nothing would make me happier than for Florida to beat them up. So by picking LSU, it's not just to take a shot at Florida. I just have a feeling LSU's more battle-tested with games on the road, big win on the road at Auburn, the neutral site week 1 with Miami. I feel like they're more prepared for this game than Florida is. I'm going to take LSU and give Florida the 2.5. All right, then we got a nothing burger here on the SEC Network at 4 o'clock. UL Monroe at Ole Miss. The Rebels are a 23-point favorite. Ole Miss is not a great team, but offensively, they've got some weapons, especially in the passing game. They've got Pineapple number 2, this TAMU guy, and 2 or 3 NFL wide receivers. Unfortunately for Ole Miss, that's all they have. They have no defense, running game, suspect at best. The good news, if you're an Ole Miss fan, in Ole Miss's wins this year, they're averaging something like 340 yards passing a game. In their losses, they have less yards than that passing combined. So the key to beating Ole Miss, which is no secret, shut the pass game down. Bad news for UL Monroe, they're terrible against the pass, giving up about 300 a game. 23 is a lot of points to lay with Ole Miss, who is not an elite team, but I think UL Monroe's pass defense is just that bad. This is a home game for the Rebels. Give me Ole Miss, and I'm going to lay the 23. All right, and big game number 2 here of the week, 7 o'clock ESPN. You got the surprisingly good Kentucky Wildcats, ranked 13th. I don't think anybody saw that coming preseason. Goes on the road to face a struggling Texas A&M team. Texas A&M, of course, got blown out a few weeks ago by Alabama. And then last week beat Arkansas by 1 touchdown, which is concerning if you're a Texas A&M fan. And here's the reason why. If you look at recent history, Texas A&M, they've been really, really hot in the beginning of the year, first 2, 3, 4 weeks, that kind of thing, and have nosedived the last 2 months of the season, the last 6 to 8 weeks of the season. It happened consistently under Kevin Sumlin. That needed to get turned around. Texas A&M looked like a legitimate team week 2 at home against Clemson, taking them to the wire. Losing by 2 on a failed 2-point conversion with a chance to tie that game up late. But here we are rolling into October, and you beat Arkansas by 7 points last week. Not a good sign if you're a Texas A&M fan. Kentucky fans complaining they're getting no respect. Looks like that trend continues. Texas A&M is a 5-point favorite. Again, Texas A&M unranked, blown out by Alabama. Struggle win over one of the worst teams in the Power 5, Arkansas, winning by 7 points at home. And they're a 5-point favorite over the 13th ranked, undefeated Kentucky Wildcats. So Kentucky is going to be able to, I think Kentucky's been using this as motivation all year. We don't get any respect card or whatever. Kentucky fans have been all over me in the comment section lately. I think I picked Kentucky to win 5 or 6 games in the preseason, but let's be real, everybody picked Kentucky to win 5 or 6 games in the preseason. So they've been one of the biggest surprises in college football all year, period. Benny Snell, a legitimate Heisman candidate. He's not going to win it. Sorry, Kentucky fans, but he's a great running back. Best running back I've seen in the SEC this year, and it's not close. Your quarterback, Terry Wilson, C+. Not a lot of touchdown passes. I think he's got more interceptions than he does touchdown passes, doesn't he? But he can hurt you with his legs. Unfortunately, Texas A&M's got a quarterback that can do the same thing in Kellen Mond. He can run on you, and we've seen that he can throw. He put up, 300-something yards on Clemson's defense. Kentucky fans want me to keep picking against them. That's what they keep telling me in the comment section. I hope this idiot keeps picking against. This guy's never seen a game. This guy's an idiot. This guy picked Kentucky to lose to Florida. What an idiot. Yeah, what an idiot picking Florida to beat a team they've beat 31 years in a row. I've never even seen a football game. So, yeah, Kentucky fans want me to keep picking against them because they think it's some kind of a blessing if I pick against them or whatever. Cash Daniels, one of your best defensive players, out for the first half of this game. I'll do you a favor, Kentucky fan. Give me Texas A&M at home and lay the 5. Kentucky, contender or pretender? Pretender? All right, my Georgia Bulldogs, 7:30, SEC Network, hosting Vanderbilt. Georgia's a 26.5-point favorite in this one. And guess what? This is Georgia's homecoming game.
How in the hell do you lose to Vanderbilt at home on homecoming?
Yep, that's right. This is the 2-year anniversary of one of the most famous Uncle Lou videos of all time. Our home loss on homecoming to Vanderbilt in 2016. Don't have to worry about that this year, do we? Vandy not very good. UJ's on a roll. Currently ranked 2nd in the nation, scoring, 45 points a game. This game won't be close. However, take everything I said about Alabama and Arkansas and the reasons why I was going to take Alabama in that game, reverse it, and give me Vandy in this game. I'm not convinced that Georgia will do enough in the second half to run the score up. I think they should. I think Jake Fromm and Justin Fields both should probably get at least 15 pass attempts each in this game. This is no secret. I've been talking about this for a few weeks. I think we need to work on and continue to develop our passing game, and this Vanderbilt game is a great time to do it. I don't care if it's 40-0 in the second half, whether it's Fromm or Fields. I'm not getting into that, but whoever's in there needs to be throwing the ball around this week. Be nice if Demetrius Robertson could get a catch. Be nice if Isaac Nauta could get a few catches. Riley Ridley. Where's Terry Godwin? Let's get him warmed up. Holloman has looked good at times this year. So let's get the passing game going here. And if they do that in the second half, Georgia will win this game by 40. Unfortunately, if you've been following Georgia for the last couple of years, that just hasn't been the pattern. They tend to coast in the second half, hand the ball off a bunch of times to fourth and fifth string running backs. I would love to believe that Georgia's going to take this week to work on their passing game in the second half and play real football for all 4 quarters. And like I said, if they do that, they'll win this game by 40 points. But past behavior is the best indicator of future behavior. There's no way I could take UGA in this game at 26.5 with the way they've been handling and approaching things in the second half. I hope I'm wrong, but until I'm proven wrong, give me Vandy, and I'll take the 26.5. All right, and then we finish things up this week with Auburn, currently ranked 8th, a 3-point favorite on the road at Mississippi State. This game, ESPN2 at 7:30. I've been hearing from some Auburn fans on the call-in show lately, and they're not happy with the offense. The offensive line is having some issues. The running game isn't where Auburn is used to it being over the last couple of years with Cam Petaway and Kerryon Johnson. Their defense is still really, really good. I'm a believer in Auburn's defense. Some complaints about Jarrett Stidham even. I tend to think most of the problems with Auburn's offense are related to scheme, play calling, and coaching. I'm not, it's no secret I'm no fan of Gus Malzahn. They've got some talented wide receivers, Auburn does. I've seen Stidham throw the ball. He's accurate, especially when he has time to throw. But, again, that gets back to the offensive line issues that Auburn has been having. Mississippi State, on the other hand, really, really disappointing under Moorhead year one. High expectations for Mississippi State coming into the year. Really talented defensive front. Nick Fitzgerald, high expectations, even though he had that bad leg injury to end the season last year. They've been a big disappointment. If Kentucky has been the most surprisingly good team in the SEC this year, I think you would have to put Mississippi State in the opposite category and say they've been the most surprisingly bad team in the SEC this year. They of course, losing to Kentucky and Florida in back-to-back weeks in games where their offense was just non-existent. It's just looked pitiful. Nick Fitzgerald just cannot get the ball down the field to save his life. So what you have here is 2 teams who, according to their fans, I'm not knocking Auburn, this is what I've heard from their fans, are struggling on offense. Mississippi State has no offense. Auburn's got a much better defense, though. This game is on the road, though, at Mississippi State. Not enough cowbell. 3 points not enough in this one. Auburn's defense will pretty much shut Mississippi State down. Even if Auburn's offense struggles, I could see them winning this game somewhere in the 24-10 range, to be honest. 3 points just doesn't seem like nearly enough here. Give me the Barners, and I'll lay the 3 points. All right, that's it for the SEC games this week. There's some good ones on there. This is really the best. October's the best month of the year for SEC football, in my opinion. Almost every single week you've got great matchups in the SEC. SEC versus SEC teams. You have some of that in November too, but of course the last couple of weeks, a lot of SEC teams play an FCS opponent, or like in Georgia's case, then we play Georgia Tech, which is a non-SEC team. But October is a great month for college football in the SEC. I'm excited about this week's schedule and the rest of the month's schedule too. Make sure you let me know in the comments down below which picks you disagree with me on. Don't forget about the live shows that we do during the week too. We have 6 live shows during the week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday, Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern. Those are call-in shows. I take calls from college football fans from all over, and we talk about all the teams, all the games, all the matchups, you name it. You get the idea. And then Saturday morning, of course, we have College Game Day Watch with Lou. I sit out here, I turn College Game Day on and talk with you guys in the comment section. I don't take phone calls on the Saturday show. I try to watch a little bit of College Game Day while I chit-chat with you guys in the comment section. But anyway, today's Tuesday, so live show today be 10 p.m. tonight. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. This is the SEC preview. Tomorrow will be the top 25 preview, and then Thursday I'll preview the rest of the games that are of interest to me. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you're a Patreon member, shout out to you first of all. I love you guys. Thank you for all the support on the channel. This Friday, 3 p.m. during the live show, we will give away the jersey for this month. So if you're signed up on the Patreon page, make sure you watch Friday's video. Even if you don't get a chance to watch it live, make sure you click back and watch it later that day or over the weekend at some point. We'll give that jersey away at the very beginning of the show on Friday at 3 o'clock. If you're not on the Patreon page and you want to join up, there's a link in the description of this video that'll take you there. It's the link that says want to support the channel, I think, or want to support the channel and win a jersey. Click that link, it'll take you over to the Patreon page. If you enjoy the Uncle Lou Show, if you enjoy the LouTube here on YouTube, sign up on the Patreon page. I would appreciate it. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. I appreciate you guys watching, and have a great morning.